Get in, loser. We're talking about Mean Girls 2024. Hi, my name is Lauren, and welcome to not really a video essay, more of a kind of movie review. I wanted to do something different from a video essay while I write my next scripts because it's probably going to be a while until I release some. I have a plan, so you're just going to have to wait. But as an avid Mean Girls the Musical and original movie fan, when the latest version came out, I knew that I was going to have something to say, especially after my TikTok filled with people who were talking about the soundtrack. And as the original Broadway cast lover, I had to say something. So I said, why not make a video? And then I saw it, and then I liked it, and then I was like, maybe I won't make a video. But then I realized that 10 minutes on TikTok is not enough for me to talk about how much I either dislike or like about the movie, so I must make a YouTube video. And now here is that video. I have a lot to say. As a fan of the musical, i.e., the stuff on the wall, and as a fan of Renee Rapp, I've needed to say something, especially because this soundtrack blessed me with a studio recording of Someone Gets Hurt and World Burned by Renee Rapp, because I've been waiting for it since she announced that she was Regina George. Okay, that one video from 2019 is not enough. But basically, I went into this movie blind, besides hearing like A Cautionary Tale and Renee songs, because I really wanted to try to formulate an opinion as unbiased as possible, because I really, really love the musical and the original movie, but I didn't want to either walk in with the belief that I'd be disappointed or the belief that I would really love it. And I actually really liked it. But I do have a lot of things I want to talk about because I'm very, very, and I know I keep saying it, passionate about this topic. I'm so dead serious, you guys. I'm wearing pink. My eye makeup is pink. I have my Mean Girl stuff up on the wall behind me, okay? We need to talk about it. So I got my burn book, aka my popcorn tin from AMC, and we're going to be pulling out topics that I'm going to talk about in today's video. So let's consult our burn book for the first topic. And what shall our first topic be today? The original musical that started this all. So let's get started. Mean Girls the Musical was an idea in Tina Fey's head for a very long time. Look up any interview where she talks about it. She's probably been thinking about it since the original movie was met with so much success. And in 2017, Mean Girls the Musical hit Broadway. Yep. Mean Girls the Musical opened in October of 2017 and lasted until about March of 2020 when the COVID-19 pandemic shut down the whole world, with 833 performances under its belt and Sabrina Carpenter as its last ever Katie Heron with Renee Rapp as its last ever Regina George. Mean Girls faded away, but not into oblivion, because Sexy ended up going viral on TikTok not too long ago. So if you say you haven't heard it, either you're not on the same TikTok as me or you're just oblivious to everything around you. And let me just say this. I personally love Mean Girls the Musical. If you ask my old theater teacher, she does not like it. I loved it so much that I saw it 3 times. Here's just one of my playbills. This is when I traveled to another city to go see Mariah Rose Faith star as Regina George. By the next time I saw it, she was no longer Regina George, I think. So that's very unfortunate. And I loved it so much that I bought this little tour book thing. I actually think this was a Christmas present. And I got the soundtrack. It's on a pink vinyl. So needless to say, when I heard this movie was being made and my queen, Renee Rapp, was playing Regina George, I was very excited. And I didn't really care if it was good or if it was bad. I support Renee Rapp and everything she does. And then I saw the movie and I said, this is kind of good. So let's talk about the things that I liked from Mean Girls 2024. Before I get into my likes and dislikes about this movie, I just want to say that I'm not trying to hate on any of these actors specifically. I think a lot of the actor control over vocal performances and acting performances also really has to do with the director. I'm also not trying to shit on the director. I think everyone's acting was good for the most part. And also, another disclaimer, I am not a movie reviewer and I am not a music person. I like music and movies for fun. I like anything that makes me happy, okay? And this movie made me happy. But I am going to critique some things, but also take it with a grain of salt because I'm not here to shit on anyone, specifically one person that I will be talking about, because honestly, I don't think it's fully their fault. Didn't realize sitting this way would make me have to open this book one way. So we have the burn book. But this is all the things I like. But let's see who the topic of our first burn book victim is. Well, I guess second, because we already talked about the musical. Chris Briney. Chris Briney as Aaron Samuels. Let's talk about it. So I have to admit, to all of the Chris Briney stans, to all of the Conrad girlies, and all of the Summer That I Turned Pretty girlies, I was personally not excited about Chris Briney's casting as Aaron Samuels. And it's probably because every Aaron Samuels that I have seen has fit into what Jonathan looked like. Like, I think, and I'm going to pronounce his last name wrong, Kyle Selg, who played the original Aaron on Broadway, who's now married to the original Katie from Mean Girls the Musical. He looks like he would fit the type. And people have critiqued this. But I actually, honestly, really loved Chris Briney's performance as Aaron Samuels. And if you're not feeling it, I'm telling you, go watch this movie and see him act. You will fall in love with him. Because I sat there, I watched him act, and I said, I get it. I understand it. I guess my biggest concern was in all of the trailers, and I don't know if this is just how Chris Briney looks, and I'm really not trying to shit on him, but in every trailer, he just looked like he was an indie sad boy. Everything was this deep thought that he had to really think about. But then, when I saw him be Aaron Samuels, I really liked it. I got it. I was like, yeah, I would fall in love with him. Like, I so would. And I just need to say this. For all of the girlies who wasn't doubting that Chris Briney would be a great Aaron Samuels, it's probably because you watched The Summer I Turned Pretty. I don't. Nothing against it. It's just not for me. But oh my god. I have nothing more to say other than I just loved him as Aaron. I loved him as Aaron. I don't even care that he didn't sing. Aaron doesn't sing all that much in the original musical. He does have like a semi-duet with Katie, and I wish they would have put that song in there, but we can talk about that later. But I loved him. I loved him. I just loved him. Like, he just played Aaron so well. He just played him so well. He wasn't, I don't know. I just really loved his performance. There's nothing more I can say other than it was just a surprise to me. I was expecting to go in hating his performance. I know I said no expectations, but I just hated his casting because I just couldn't see him as Aaron, and now I do. I love him. I love Chris Briney as Aaron. Okay? I love Chris Briney as Aaron. I can't fight it. Burn book victim number 3. Ali'i and Jacquel. I don't think there could have been a better casting for Janice or Damien besides Ali'i and Jacquel. Their performances were just very entertaining. There's something about Ali'i that I love. I don't know. Her as Janice was just everything. Her makeup, the way she acted, her singing. And Jacquel, I found out from his Instagram, this is his first movie. He ate. He did so good. I just love him as Damien. I think it's a perfect blend of movie Damien and musical Damien. I have a really soft spot for the musical version of Damien. I don't know why, but I just think I loved also that we got more of them. I think their casting was great. I think what they did with the characters were great, and I just love that we got more of them. So they absolutely slayed that. Okay, next victim. Oh goodness. Now that we've talked about Ali'i and Jacquel, let's talk about A Cautionary Tale. This was the first song that I actually saw on a TikTok clip. And like I said, because I had only heard like the soundtrack versions of songs, I was very terrified of what this was going to sound like. Not that A Cautionary Tale is like my favorite song in the musical. It's not. We'll discuss that later. But I think what they did with it is so good. Ali's character Janice is playing guitar, and Jacquel is back on the maraca thing, on a maraca looking thing, and they are singing it kind of a cappella style, playing their own instruments. There's no backing track. I'm sure maybe somebody was actually playing the guitar, but either way, it was just it was better than I thought it could ever be. This actually might be one of my favorite musical numbers from the movie altogether. And again, that's something I'm going to talk about later, because I think when it's smaller and the music is controlled by the characters, it's better played. They just did it really well. I love how their energy kind of works off of each other. I love that there's more Damien in the song than there is in the musical one, because I really loved this Damien. Jacquel did just so he just did so well. And I just really loved A Cautionary Tale. I really loved A Cautionary Tale because I have a lot to say about a lot of the songs, but if I'm talking positively about a song, that means I think it's really good. Because A Cautionary Tale was really good. And it's like the song that brings you into the movie, and so let's get down to our next one. I've already lost count. Slay! Tina Fey and Tim Meadows come back in this musical movie, reprising their roles as Miss Norbury and Mr. Duval. And why do I love it? One, because it's the original Miss Norbury and Mr. Duval. And two, because they're actually a couple in this one. Yeah, they're a certified couple in this one. I know it's kind of hinted at that they like each other in the first movie. Like, this is the second movie. We all know Mean Girls 2 is trash, even though I liked it. Go check out Julia Cudney's video about it, because her video is funny. But in the first movie, it's kind of referenced that there might be a little tension there. She's fresh off of a divorce from the summer, and Mr. Duval kind of has this crush on her. They're together in this one. They're together. Because when they're in the little scene, spoiler alert, when they're in the little scene where the burn book has just been dropped at the school, Mr. Duval asks Miss Norbury to talk to the students, and she says, "Fine, but you're walking the dogs, blah, 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 blah." And I just really love it, you guys. Like, I can't get over it. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with Tina Fey and Tim Meadows doing that in this recent movie. That's all. That's really, I really liked. I have 3 more left on my likes. What's this next one? The Lilo cameo. Lilo, Lindsay Lohan, put some respect on her motherfucking name. She came back and she looked better than ever. Miss Lindsay Lohan is not in this for long. Another spoiler alert. At the math competition that Katie attends, Lindsay Lohan is like the moderator for it, and she just looks great. And I'm so happy for her. And they even like reference how a tie had happened years ago. So it'd be really cool. It'd be really cool. It's really cool. I love Lindsay Lohan. We love you, Lindsay Lohan. It's so good to see you in this movie. Next topic. Renee motherfucking Rapp. Her name is Renee Rapp, and she is a massive deal. Oh my god, she's a massive deal. She slayed as Regina. I loved this the most because since she was Regina on Broadway, I have wanted to see her Regina, and the only clips I got were from slime tutorials and the one video that Mean Girls Broadway account posted back in 2019 where she sang World Burn and killed it, which she did in the movie. Originally it was on my dislikes list, but it's grown on me since. I keep remembering how it happened in the movie, and I just think it's wonderful. And I just think she did wonderful. I personally forgot that Mean Girls was not about Regina George because I was so obsessed with Renee Rapp. I was like, yes, 2 hours of staring at Renee Rapp. And then you forget Katie's the main character, so it's not really tied to Regina. So my only critique is more Renee Rapp. More Renee Rapp, because she slays. She slayed. She acted it so well. She sang it beautifully. She outsang everybody in the cast. I think Alii is the only one who actually had competition against her. She slayed. She slayed. I loved how she was subtly mean, but mean enough that people, of course, would hate her. Renee Rapp, the woman that you are, you will always be famous. You will always be famous. And on to our last topic. Revenge Party. Revenge Party seems to have a love-hate relationship with people that I've seen on TikTok, and I've been trying not to watch a lot of TikToks about it because I want to keep my opinion as to myself as I can and not let other people's thoughts influence that. But I really loved Revenge Party, and it makes so much sense that I loved Damien and Janice because I've loved both of their songs that they had in this. Um, Revenge Party was just so fun. I love that it goes into this somewhat fictional world where Janice and Damien are actually like hosting this party where they're torturing Regina. She's getting cut in half. She's being chased around with a chainsaw. Like they're like having fun. They're living in this fictional world where they're actually throwing a literal revenge party. In the musical, it kind of just moves along to push forward the events of Katie ruining Regina's life, which they do in the movie, but I mean in the musical, which they do in the musical, but in the movie it just I loved the little sequence. I loved the little sequence. I loved their performances. They absolutely ate. My only downside of this, which a lot of people have said, and I do agree, is Angourie Rice's performance. I think out of all of the songs that she sang in this movie, her performance in Revenge Party was the best one. But I do also agree that like the motion camera when she's walking to the candy cane table is a little strange. But again, not shitting on her for that because that was a directorial decision and I don't know why they made that decision. But otherwise, I really love the song. I loved the performance, I loved the actual scene, and I love Ali and Jekyll. I love them. Now, let's get on to the things I didn't really like about this movie. So, actually having this burn book is going to help. So, let's mix up the topics and let's see what's topic number 1. Okay. What's wrong with me? I personally didn't have much of a problem with this number. I think BB Woods did a good job singing it and acting it. You can see a lot of Gretchen's insecurity in that. My only problem was that the instrumental did not line up with her voice really well, and that really bothered me. This is an issue with a lot of the songs that I've noticed. It seems like the instrumental is doing its own thing while the person singing is doing their own thing. They're singing like the musical in a way, and then the instrumental is just like taking a walk. I don't know. Someone said it on TikTok. The musical soundtrack ran so that this soundtrack could walk very slowly. And I would agree with that. And a lot of my criticisms of this movie are going to be about the musical numbers because, like I said, I'm very passionate about this. This soundtrack was on my Spotify Wrapped as one of my top 10 albums for a certain year. Pop the little thing I made for myself up. I'll even include the year because I don't remember. But it's one of my top albums. I still listen to this, okay? I love this. So it pains me that a lot of the songs I used to love, I don't like in this version because I was looking forward to another version. I'm always open to more versions of songs I like. Dislike number 2. Oh my goodness. What ifs? What can I not say about this song? For context, What Ifs is the new Katie song. It happens right after Cautionary Tale, and in the musical, it's a song called It Roars. I love It Roars with a burning passion. I've said this a million times. I love this musical soundtrack more than anything. So I'm very passionate about keeping the songs that are good that we have. And unfortunately, they got rid of It Roars. And I don't understand why. Maybe it was because Angourie Rice can't sing it well. I don't know. You don't need to belt, girl. It's okay. I'm not expecting a lot of these people who are not theater performers to be able to belt. It is a learned talent in a way. If you can belt, you have to learn how to do it healthily. And maybe she just doesn't know how to do that. And that's fine. However, I hate that they took the beautiful song that is It Roars and changed it into What Ifs. A song so forgettable I could not tell you a single lyric from it at all. And one thing about It Roars is that it symbolizes the one side of Katie that she suppresses the most when it comes to her turning into a plastic. Katie was born and raised in Kenya, in Africa. So her using animal metaphors throughout the entire show, even when she's full plastic, is to show that there's still a part of Katie in there that makes her who she is. And I'll talk about this more with another song, but It Roars talks about how her wants and needs are roaring to get out of her like a lion roars, because she like studied lions when she lived in Kenya. One of the most important character traits in the musical, and I'm not going to talk about the movie because comparing the movie to the musical, that's not what we're supposed to be doing right now. It literally says at the end, adapted from the musical. Taking away Katie's connection to the animal world makes any number or any scene where she sees animalistic things happening, it takes away from that. It takes away from that so much. And It Roars sets up that Katie sees the world in that type of way because that's the only way she knows how to see the world. She's only lived alone in Kenya for most of her life. She had her parents, and she had sometimes people who would like come visit. Like, she had a crush on a kid who lived in a village nearby, and she had a crush on a Peace Corps guy. She didn't have the kind of friends that she meets at North Shore. And so she relates everything to the animals that she encounters. And they took that gorgeous song and turned it into what ifs. It even gets a reprise. I hate that song with a burning passion. Hate it. Hate it. Hate it so much I forgot the entire performance. And it's not a dig on Angori at all. I hate that song. I hate that song. Why? Why did you change it, Tina Fey? Anyone else who worked on it, why did you change it? It Roars is so... This is why I couldn't film the TikTok about it, because I'm so angry that they changed It Roars. I'm so angry that they changed It Roars. It was... Lord Almighty, it was so good, I can't even form a thought. If you haven't heard It Roars, play It Roars after you listen to What If. Or if you go see the movie and you like the movie and you're like, I like What If, sit down, open Spotify, open Apple Music, open YouTube Music, open SoundCloud, whatever you use to stream music, and listen to It Roars. I'm telling you, it's 10 times better. And I can't keep reiterating the same points. I'm just so extremely passionate about It Roars. It's one of my favorite songs from the soundtrack, and I was so excited. I was sitting in the theater. I was like, yeah, Cautionary Tale. Now we're going to hear It Roars. And then she started singing some whack-ass song that no one gives two shits about. And I haven't seen enough people talk about it. I really haven't. So everyone, either you hate It Roars because you're not fun, or you just forgot about this song like I did. And I only remembered it because I hated it so much. And it's probably going to be the longest part of this video because I hate that fucking song. Oh my... Let's go to the next topic because I just got too mad there. The backing vocals. So, I don't know what kind of crack was being smoked in the production office of this soundtrack, but the backing vocals... I didn't like them. I didn't like them a little bit. I don't know if there were 3 people in the booth, or they only had, like, they said these are our 4 best singers who are not in the main cast. Let's put them on the backing. Dude, I hated them. And I understand that it's important to a lot of the songs in Mean Girls to have those backing vocals. And usually I really love them. I love the little ensemble chipping in. They always have something to say, and they're going to add to it. I think in this soundtrack, they ruined it. I think they should banish the backing vocals. Throw them out the window. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Get them out, because I didn't like them. Not in any song. I liked the solos better. They, like, really... Yes! They really hit. Because the backing vocals just weren't it. They just weren't it. At all. Every song without backing vocals was way better. Way better. Meet the Plastics. Another Renee Rapp song that unfortunately I have to shit on for a second. And it's not because of Renee Rapp. It's because you only met one plastic. You only met one. In the musical, Meet the Plastics introduces Regina, Karen, and Gretchen all in one song and explains who they are to Regina, who they are as a person, and how their dynamic works. Karen is the pretty dumb girl who is there to simply just add beauty to the group. Gretchen is not only beautiful, but she has the ability to get secrets out of everybody else, and she's Regina's right hand man. She gets the secrets out, she brings them to Regina. And Regina, the queen bee leader that everybody is in love with, but also everybody is scared of and they hate. In the movie, it's just Regina. But I really like Meet the Plastics. I really like that song. But it just explains their dynamic and explains who they are really well. And I'm really annoyed that they took it out. But I just really don't like that it was just Regina. Again, no hate to Renee. I love Renee, and I have no problem with Regina just singing about how hot and powerful she is. Like, that's cool, but please include the other girls. They're just sitting there. They're just sitting there. Give them more numbers. They sing and they sing fine. So give them that moment. Let Karen be dumb in a song. Let Gretchen show that she is kind of an evil mastermind. Please. And don't call it Meet the Plastics. It's Meet the Plastic, a singular plastic, because only one of them sings. So it's not Meeting the Plastics. It's Meeting Regina. Meet Regina. You should have changed the name of the song to that. Meet Regina. Meet the Plastic. Okay, next. Oh my. Stupid with Love. Stupid with Love is another favorite song of mine that I think they ruined in this version, and I've seen differing opinions on it. I don't care. This is my video, so this is my opinion. I don't like the song at all in the movie. At all. I think the director of the song told Angori to sound as bored as possible, because she does. It sounds very robotic. I don't like the backing vocals in it. I don't really enjoy the beat. I think they took a song that was about the first, like, different crush, because she's had crushes in the past. Yeah. But Aaron is something different and special to her. And it's captured in this dorky, cute, delusional, people have been saying delusional, and I love the word for that, delusional song, where she can't help but think about all this stuff that you think of when you like somebody, and it's just so, like, cutesy. And I think they ripped all of the cutesy out of it and made it into this song. They made it into this song. Somebody on TikTok, and I know I said I'm trying not to let the TikToks, but I'll let the TikToks. Somebody said that it was more the shy, cute love. And I don't agree. Stupid with Love, Katie is in an aside with the audience on the stage musical when she does that, which means she literally turns her desk around and faces the audience. She's telling them a story. It's an aside. Here's the definition of aside. Okay? She's having an aside moment where she's talking about her experiences with love and how she thinks that Aaron could be different, and she's imagining all of these things. He's like one of the guys on TV. I bet he works out. He's got cute hair. He's got nice eyes. Like, all of this different stuff. It's this cutesy little song, and I love it so much so that is on my love playlist because I think it's so adorable, and I think they ripped all of the personality out of it and threw it in the garbage. They threw it away like it was nothing. And it angers me because it's probably one of my top 3 songs from the musical altogether. And I think when you have that much cutesy wootsy personality in it, and you take it away and you throw it away and you don't even think about it, it's irritating. Because I think Angori Rice could have played that role very well. She could have played into that so well. And I think, and I said this, I think with What If, she doesn't have to belt the parts because Katie does some belting in there. She doesn't have to do that. Tone that down all you want. You can fuck with whatever key you want. You have the ability to do that. Don't make it with no personality. Even if it was shy love, you can convey that with that song without making it feel like it has no emotion and it's robotic. I would have preferred that. Instead, they shat on it and made me cry. Influencers. In this movie, there are moments where they use actual influencers like Chris Olsen, the Merle twins, and I believe somebody else. And here's the thing, I have no issues with these influencers at all. I do have issues with using modern influencers in movies because I believe that's going to date a movie faster than anything. It's going to date a movie faster than anything. Watch any movie that stars a YouTuber in it. The Smosh movie, um, the movie that the Fine Bros made. Wow, like that Logan Paul airplane ripoff. I haven't seen that one, but watch a movie with an influencer in it, and it'll date it so much. And I think it's because sometimes certain influencers are tied to the time that they got really big and famous because that's what we associate them with. There's like a movie with Cameron Dallas in it and Leah Michelle, yes, from Glee, Leah Marie Johnson. And if I were to watch that now, it would make me feel like I was back in my MadCon era. Influencers date movies. Okay? To all of the studio execs out there, in my personal opinion, and I think some people would agree with me, influencers date movies so deeply. When you make a movie, you want to make a movie that can be watched time and time again. And even if it is a classic, it feels classic-y in a way that doesn't date it. Influencers that are very tied to the influencer stick, and there's nothing wrong with that, just date a movie entirely. I don't mind the integration of social media at all. I think you can put social media in a movie tastefully without dating your movie, and I think Mean Girls could have done that if they didn't put famous influencers in their movie, that so when people watch it in 5 years from now, then when maybe those influencers are out of the loop, they'll be like, oh wow, this is so that time of year, and feel really dated in a bad way. But that's just my personal opinion. Feel free to argue with me in the comments about it, but that's just my personal opinion. The last point in my burn book. Oh me, oh my. Apex Predator. So I talked about how much I loved the Janice and Damien numbers, and I do. But I don't love this Janice and Damien number, solely because in the musical, it's a Janice and Katie number. And I think you shall understand, if you have seen the musical, why turning it into a Janice and Damien number isn't the best idea. Apex Predator is talking about how Regina is top bitch of this school. And in Katie's eyes, because she's from Kenya and studied and lived with animals in Kenya, she sees Regina as the apex predator, and that if she rocks with Regina, she will be one of the higher ups in the food chain and will not be picked on or whatever as much. And you lose that point when you give the number to Janice and Damien as a duet. You lose it a lot. It was a big pet peeve of mine, and I don't care if Damien starts the number with Janice, because they're talking with Katie in the movie. They're talking with Katie in the hallway, and Katie kind of says the reference to the food chain like she would in general, because, you know, Katie lived in Africa. Katie hung out with the animals in Africa. So she references the food chain and how Regina George is the apex predator of the school, like she would be an apex predator out in the wild if she were an animal. And then they start the song going off of this analogy, which Janice and Damien knew nothing about at the beginning of the song because Katie had to explain it to them. So then they end up singing this whole song about how Regina is the apex predator while everyone else acts like animals in the food chain supply, and Katie's just sitting there silently. If you're going to tie such a characteristic to a character like that, you have to follow through with it. You wrote the musical. What do you mean you gave the song to Janice and Damien? I have no problem with Janice being on it. Janice is trying to warn Katie. She's basically saying, hey girl, here's your metaphor. You're not in her pack. Okay, she's using you, and then she's going to throw you out. And Katie is so amazed by this world that she's in. Like, the whole point of the song is that Katie is amazed by the power that Regina has. And then you took the song away from her. So Damien and Janice, who don't like Regina, are amazed by the power she has. even though they can't stand the power she has. It also, then, if I were a person who didn't know anything about the musical, I would be so confused as to why people were acting like animals, because the people are acting like animals in Katie's head. They're not actually acting like that. They're not acting like that at all. They're acting like that in Katie's head because that's how she sees the world. But you gave the number to Damien. You gave Katie's part to Damien. And I don't know if it was because Angori didn't want to sing it or Angori couldn't sing it. Janice and Damien are our narrators, and it made more sense to have them sing it, even though it really doesn't, because they're also the narrators in the musical. It just really irked me. It's another song that I like. I wouldn't say it's like one of my favorites, but I like it. And I think when you take a song that's meant to like show us more how Katie sees the world around her as somebody who's not used to the status quo of a normal high school, and you give it to somebody who's singing about something that they really didn't know about until 5 seconds ago, it irks me. It irks me. Really, what they did was take all of Katie's songs and throw them out the window. And while I'm here, I didn't add this on my list, but I thought about it earlier. While I'm here, one of my biggest irks that they got rid of, one of my favorite songs from the musical, is More Is Better, which is a duet between Katie and Aaron. And I understand that Chris Briney didn't want to sing or whatever, or he didn't have to. Either way, Chris Briney didn't have to sing. That could have been a Katie duet entirely. Entirely. And then you could have just had Aaron kind of speaking about it and her cutting him off by singing. Because they have the conversation that they have in this song, but it's so important because at the end of the movie, she sings I See Stars. It's the closing song of the movie and the musical. But if you just have a little throwaway line about how she saw more sky, she didn't say stars. She said, there was more sky. I could see more sky. Why the fuck is she singing about stars? Why is she singing about stars? All of a sudden, she got up on that stage and she said, I see stars. Why do you see stars, Katie? Are you on drugs? Are you hallucinating? If you had More Is Better, where she explains that she sees stars, she saw more stars, or even if you didn't even have More Is Better because you didn't, because you hate that song and you hate me and my happiness, you could have had her say, I had more stars instead of I had more sky. Which, in the song, she starts with sky and then she said stars in the sky. And maybe she said that line in the movie and maybe I just forgot because I was so angry that they cut More Is Better that I just don't remember her mentioning it. But I swear to God, she's just said, I had more sky. That's wonderful. What did you see in the sky, Katie? Stars. So that's why you sing I See Stars at the end. But let's just leave that context out. Let's just leave that context out. Okay? Overall, I actually really did enjoy this movie. I know I just spent the better half of this video talking about everything I didn't like, but I was entertained. I had a good time, okay? I had a good time. I was mostly there for Renee, because we love Renee. We love Renee. So I was mostly there for Renee, but I was also there because I absolutely love this musical. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you like this video. I do want to release more content that isn't just video essays in between the time that I'm making video essays. I don't know if I'll really stick to that, but if I do, look out for more content like this. Go check out my commentary with my friend Reese. Go check out my other video essays. And stay tuned, because I got some video essays cooking up in this noggin, and I will be releasing them in due time. And I should say this. Thank you for 1,000 views on my driver's license video. I really appreciate that. I put a lot of work into that video, and I'm super glad that you guys liked it. Okay, bye.